Hi, my name is James Villa, and I'm a graduate student at Tarleton State University and an 8th grade science teacher at the Atlas Academy in Waco. You can find me on Twitter at JamesVilla6. If you find this video useful, use blended learning in your classroom, or just want to share some of the EdTech tools you find most useful, I would love to hear from you. Today I'd like to introduce you to Nearpod. It's a web-based presentation and assessment tool. But first, I'd like to give some context as to what I'm trying to accomplish with blended learning in my classroom, because I have no doubt that many of you use tech tools that provide way better solutions than the ones I've tried. I flipped my classroom 2 years ago, and the results were really phenomenal for both years for the first 6 weeks of school. I love the idea of the flip model because I know that lecturing is not what I want to do with the limited time I have in class with my students. I want to spend time questioning, discussing, and guiding their exploration of the class's content. Flipping enabled this, but after 6 weeks, YouTube analytics don't lie, my students are ready for a different model of instruction. Probably the most common modality of blended learning in K-12 schools is station rotations. I thought that Nearpod might be a tool that would allow me to insert the direct instruction of the course, the video lectures, as well as interactive assessments that provide some feedback as one station in that rotation. Nearpod wasn't quite suited for this, for reasons I'll explain, but I was impressed by some of its capabilities and thought they would be worth sharing with you. I toyed around with Nearpod several years ago, but never really used it. I was surprised by how much it's improved since then. For the best features to be enabled, however, it is a pay-to-play web tool. Presentations can be student-paced or they can be teacher-led. I was really disappointed, however, that instant feedback on the assessments within the lesson isn't possible in the student-paced lessons. So overall, this application is definitely intended to be used for teacher-led lessons, which was kind of a deal breaker for me since that's not where I wanted to be in the station rotations. It is also best used with a class set of iPads. Not only can the instructor effectively monitor student progress throughout the lesson, students move through the slides at the teacher's discretion. My students were a little bit shocked that I controlled what was on their iPad screen. They're not used to that. Creating a presentation in Nearpod is really easy. You import and modify a slideshow you already have or create original content. They do have a store where you can share, sell, and buy lessons, but I didn't find anything that was exactly what I wanted there. One great thing about Nearpod is that it is really media rich. You can add 3D models, although there are a limited number of them. You can include simulations for math and science, and even begin to dabble in virtual reality with 360 views, these field trips. Again, an iPad is a must for these content pieces. My students absolutely loved getting out of their seats and exploring an anemone reef in this lesson. It led to a really good discussion about interactions between biotic and abiotic factors, but I digress. As you can see, there are no lack of options when it comes to what you can embed into your lesson. You can also link anything from the web with a click of a button. What was really appealing about this tool for me, though, was the last option, the ability to add activities. A variety of assessment and collaborative tools are easily added. You've got polls, quizzes, drawings. In this lesson, the assessment tools that I selected were a vocabulary cloze activity and an exit ticket where students annotated a food web to demonstrate their understanding of different relationships that organisms share. Now, what is really cool is that when the lesson is over, Nearpod automatically produces a pretty robust data report, both for student participation, but also for student achievement. You can see how students scored on a quiz or how the whole class performed on individual quiz questions. So you can break it down either way. You can also review free response questions and student drawings if you're using them as formative assessments. Not all of the activities generate data, but all in all, I was pretty impressed with the amount of detail in the reports that were provided, as well as their ease of access. For example, they can be downloaded into a spreadsheet with the click of a button. I hope that this introduction to Nearpod was useful to you. If you want to liven up your lecture or lesson, especially if you have a class set of iPads, I would highly encourage you to give Nearpod a try. If you know of a similar tool that doesn't require the instructor to lead the activities, Leave a comment or connect with me on Twitter. Thanks.